Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Well, we've got a debate tonight. I'm looking here at the market, though, man. Like, just the first 10 minutes or so, pretty lackluster compared to recent days. Liquidity looks okay. There's 5K out there. So it's not quite as good as it was, but it's okay. Seeing 4,000s out there is not bad. Just remember that 4,000 is like the usual, right? Like before COVID and everything, that's what we would usually have up there. And before the that implosion in 2018, the what do they call it? The quant implosion in 2018. Anyways, maybe it's because we got a debate today. I'm getting that look like nothing's going to happen. We don't really have a whole lot of economic news this morning. We do have Fed's Bowman speaking, Fed's Barr speaking, 3-year note, and then the presidential debate. So the presidential debate may keep activity a little bit constrained. So go to the charts. So here you got the treasuries. Yesterday, they started on the back foot, but over the session, we did get a pretty decent uptrend. It was actually like the beginning of it, like during our session, was, I would say, fairly lackluster, but then they had an extension afterwards. S&P 500, decent recovery. Of course, there's still these like big highs from like the overreaction, etc. above us, but equities are looking pretty okay this morning, all things considered. Oil continues to languish, so this is the big one I'm a little bit concerned about, that like some of the commodities seem to suggest that the economy is not so hot. All right, gold and silver, yeah, a little bit up, but nothing too big. Kappa holding their gains from yesterday, but not much else. Japanese yen, there were some headlines overnight about that they don't see any need to raise interest rates again. Maybe they'll do it again before the end of the year, but right now they're kind of, well, there was a little bit of a move in the Japanese yen, but not too much. They're kind of sideways. But, I think this is good. If we got this, it used to be the Japanese yen was down every day. Then we had this huge uptrend. And if we just kind of stay in a range here, that would probably be the best thing for the markets, because the yen pushing up too much or pushing down too much kind of causes other imbalances. I think there are some people that would think, oh, the yen, we want it to go down. Well, like that might help you doing your carry trade and your tech stocks and these things, but then that introduces other problems like inflation in Japan. So I think that's okay. And then Bitcoin recovering a little bit up above 5,700. Long ways to go before that 6,000 level that was pretty critical for a while. But at this point, I don't know if levels even matter in Bitcoin. It really looks like this is individuals buying and selling and not much rhyme or reason to anything that's happening. So Bitcoin kind of been not that interesting for a while. Since 2001, like it died down and it's just kind of never caught fire again. I'm sure there will be another bull run at some point, but it seems not today. Okay, well, so we did get some action there while I was going through the charts. Another tick or two up, and we're at 115 even. So let's see if they decide to extend from there or not. I'm thinking though that I personally am going to be pretty tight with the trades. Let's see here. Oh, I don't have my terminal open. Let's open the terminal. Take some notes. Case flows. Bait. Night. Wait, why is it? That can't be right. So I have on my calendar, on my financial juice calendar, Fed Bars speak and Fed's Bowman speaks. We're in the blackout period. How could they be speaking? Is that wrong? Let's refresh here. No, it's still on there. 3-year auction. There's a meeting on the 18th, right? Detail. Due to speak about Basel III at the Brookings Institute, audience questions expected. Bowman due to speak at the Future of Stress Testing and Stress Capital Buffer Framework at the Executive Council of the Banking Law. Okay, did I get something wrong? Help me out here, guys. Where did I screw up? Because there's a Fed meeting next week. Fed meeting is next week. So are we not in the blackout period? Federal Reserve policy limits the extent to which FOMC participants and staff can speak publicly or grant interviews during the Federal Reserve blackout periods, which begin the second Saturday preceding a Federal Open Market Committee meeting and the Thursday following the meeting unless otherwise noted. Then I come over here and I look at it. And today is the 10th. We are in the blackout period. I wonder if they are going to give a speech, but that they can't talk about monetary policy and all. You know, maybe these are special exceptions. I'm not going to list those on there. I don't think that they can say anything that's to do with to move the markets. How'd you do in August? I did okay in August. I didn't take a ton of trades. August is a summer month. I should be taking more trades here in September, but I've still been kind of risk adverse. You know what? I've become too big of a pussy, guys. It really takes a lot these days to get me to take a trade. I just do not have the risk appetite I did. But we did, well, I think I can show here. Let's see. I'll change this from today. And go back to the beginning of August, and oops, no, not on orders, on positions. August. Yeah, and then, well, I took a decent number of sim trades and everything. It looks like on the sim trades, though, a couple of the sim trades were bad, so I think that overall on the sim we were no good. But if we filter, count begins with 7. There you go. So I made a net $20. Okay, I don't trade big, but for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 for 6 with 2 scratches. Technically 3 scratches, because that 5 could be considered a scratch too. But wasn't amazing, but I would say, but it was still profitable. I have the perfect plan. Throw an ES sim long at the highs here. Well, okay. I feel like in the treasuries that the longer term trend is still up. But on a valuation basis, it still seems to me that the market is pricing in more cuts than I currently think are justified. I think that part of why you might be seeing that, well, two main things that come to mind right now. One is it's not necessarily a prediction or a statement on absolute levels. They're doing their thing, they're trading, they're putting their stuff in, and they're not really thinking about the valuation that you're getting from it. That is one thing. But I think the other thing is that historically, the Fed tends to undershoot, which is to say, like when we start cutting and the Federal Reserve thinks, well, we think that we might need to cut 1% or something like that. And then the market ends up going into a recession and they end up cutting much more than that. So when you do kind of like your historical back tests, gives you a reason to say, you know, just go long the treasuries here and YOLO it, right? But I think that this situation is a little bit different. Like, yes, we're seeing some economic weakness, but not that much. It's not that much. It still looks like it's in an acceptable range. So unless there's something to this idea that like cutting rates itself has a negative impact on the economy that causes the economy to fall, it's, you know, I don't think it's like that. Most of the time they're cutting interest rates because we're straight up going into a recession, right? This situation is different because they raised interest rates super high, super fast because of inflation. Inflation is gone. They're pulling it back to normalize it, and not necessarily because now if they keep it high for too long, then of course they'll go into recession. But we don't seem to be there yet. In fact, there's even still some numbers that kind of make me think, well, there's a real risk of inflation heating back up. I feel that much less so than I did like 3 months ago. But, you know, I guess it's still a possibility. So, anyways, that's why perhaps the longer term trend is still to the upside. 12K delta for the first 15 minutes? Yeah, you know, so for the first little bit of trading, it was really giving me those signs that, like, it could be a quiet day, right? And then while we were doing the run through of the charts, we had a decent impulse. Went from, on my number, -20 to -7. So that's about a 15K delta, yeah. Now it happened all in one spot. So I think what that was is there was just a really big iceberg at 115 even. But that really big iceberg kind of like revealed the hand of somebody, that like somebody had a lot to buy. Do they have more to buy than that? Hard to say. There's a real possibility that everybody gets excited because of that jump up and then it continues to just like not do much of anything. Real possibility. Fact, there's 4,000 contracts selling to 01, so now interesting. That doesn't really change my cumulative delta though. But maybe my first impression here that like today was likely to be a really quiet day is maybe wrong. I'm kind of thinking here now, well, if we did have an uptrend, well, yesterday's high was 04. And then you get into this kind of no man's land spike up from the non-farms. What's Bill Mitchell here saying? Hold on, where's their latest? He's pointing out that all of the polls kind of took like a hard right turn. Not really seeing it. Too far back. Yeah, September 8th. So not a new data point. I'm a little bit nervous about the debate tonight, guys. To be honest, it's probably has more to do with like my own emotional state. I think yeah, I'm a little sick. Though I feel a lot better today than I did yesterday, so hopefully I'm getting over it. I'm wondering if it's COVID. Like, so I'm not, I don't have any like green mucus or anything like that. But I do have like aches all over my body. So like, I think the aches means it's probably not allergies. So I would tend to get like a sinus infection around this time of year. But it's just like the way that my system seems to be reacting to it, that like it's very innocuous, and yet I'm still going like full blown let's fight this sort of a thing, makes me think maybe it's COVID, because I have had it once before. So I would expect my system to attack it really, really hard, you know? You'll forever wonder if it's COVID now. Well, I don't know. But anyways, and then like we had dinner really late last night, so like that's the sort of a thing that just, you know, I think I'm a little bit more prone to negative emotions than the average male. So like I was ruminating about things and stewing about things and anxious about stuff, you know. So it could just be me. But the thing that I was kind of diving into yesterday, so there's this whole story about somebody claimed that a migrant in Ohio, I think it was, like kidnapped a cat and killed the cat in a voodoo ritual. And man, the right-wing forums like really went all in with that one yesterday. Like all of the memes that I saw yesterday were about eating cats. No, there is not. There's a body cam. Show me. Because when I was going through it last night, it was not verified. Actually, no, I think I know what you're talking about. The body cam video, too, though. Hold on. Snopes had a thing about this. Oh, it doesn't like my ad blockers, huh? Okay, get a site. How come it won't let me? Maybe if I open up Chrome, do I have Chrome? Maybe Edge. Okay, where? Okay, so the police are talking about a cat. Okay, so here's this one. So there's two stories, actually. There's one that they're eating ducks and geese. Oh, this is the story, though. They say it's unfounded. Here's all the stuff about ducks and kittens, right? Didn't they say something about the Yeah, here you go. It is this. There you go. This is that video. Yeah, there you go. This is that. So they're talking about that video. In defense of the claim that Haitian immigrants were eating cats, Someone X shared a video of purported body cam footage of police arresting a Haitian immigrant in Springfield, Ohio, eating a cat. This video does not support claims about Haitians in any way. In reality, the video depicts a real incident involving the arrest of an American citizen, not a Haitian immigrant, in Canton, Ohio. The video concerns an August 16th incident involving a woman named Alexis Talia Farrell, who was accused of murdering and eating a cat. There is no evidence that Farrell is Haitian, and no reports filed at the time of her arrest mentioned anything about Haiti. According to court records viewed by Snopes, Farrell has an extensive criminal record, but none of these charges involved any immigration-related violation. Another piece of purported evidence for the claim of widespread Haitian goose killing in Springfield concerned a single image of a black man carrying a dead Canada goose. However, this image does not come from Springfield. The photo can be found in a Reddit thread about Columbus, Ohio, and it was posted at least 1 month earlier than these viral claims, and there's no evidence that this individual had any connection to Haiti. So, like, the thing that that I think that they're focused on, though, if you come back up here, is this Facebook post. No, not that one. Do they have it? There's G Vance. Oh, there you go. Springfield, Ohio. This one right here. So the origin of this was this Facebook story, right, in Springfield. So this person is claiming that there was an incident in Springfield, and that we can't find any evidence proving this incident. This is like a third-hand account. So then you've got this thing that's like, okay, so here is a person supposedly that is eating a cat. They're not an immigrant, and it was from a month ago. So this seems to be unrelated to this specific incident, at least, that has caused everybody to talk about this in the past day, right? But, like, look, this dude turning to the fact-checking site that took 7 years to change their rating on the Fine People hoax. Well, I can at least, I will go to Snopes all the time because they actually do have some digging that I can't seem to find on my own. They didn't, you know, and in all fairness, they didn't say that it's false. They just say it's unfounded. So I'm kind of worried because that was like all that people on the right-wing forums were talking about yesterday. And I kind of see this thing, like they call it reverse conditioning. Basically a propaganda tactic that is utilized by the Democrat Party quite frequently now is they will intentionally amplify ridiculous misinformation. And then, you know, as soon as it becomes a big enough thing and all of the people on the right are talking about it, then they'll reveal that it's false to discredit those people, right? And so I'm kind of wondering if this is a case like that. That this is like there's kind of a thing going on there, but not really? And it's all fuzzy and like, okay, so was there somebody in Ohio arrested for eating a cat? Yes. I think that this video shows that there was a person in Ohio eating a cat, not Springfield, not an immigrant, but in Ohio a month ago. But was there an incident of somebody in Springfield eating a cat like this Facebook post claims? Sorry, I went past it. It was this way. Like this Facebook post claims. No, I can't confirm that. I hear the animal sacrifice problem in Queens is real and predates the migrant issue. Yeah, why would they be eating pets and wildlife when we're literally giving them billions of dollars to buy food? It's true. You know what, though? This story actually goes into a lot of other detail around about what's going on that is actually really interesting. So Springfield in particular has just been inundated by Haitian immigrants, and they claim that they are not illegal immigrants, that most of these Haitian immigrants are legal immigrants. But basically, like, everybody found out that there was some work there, and people just like poured in. They just like poured in. And then there was an incident where an immigrant driver hit a school bus and killed an 11-year-old child and injured several others. That was back in May. So like there is like controversial stuff going on over there. But here's what I think is going to happen is Trump's going to make some joke about immigrants eating cats, and then the media is going to have a conniption fit. That's not true. No. You know it's going to happen, right? And then you get to play this game where it's like, again, okay, so like, you can say that it's true and not true depending on which details you care about, right? So you say, was there a Haitian immigrant ate a cat in Springfield? No proof for that. Was somebody in Ohio arrested for eating a cat? Yes. And so they'll do the. So man, I had somebody doing this to me yesterday on Reddit, and it was so effing wild to me. Like, I'm reading this person's comments and I'm like, I'm wigging out. I'm like, you've got to be effing kidding me, man. So what happened? There was a thread. there was somebody posted a meme like, oh, Kamala Harris has posted her policy platform now, and the Republicans are all realizing that they're going to lose now, which is just like the most lame, retarded meme I can possibly think of. But so I said, like, look, her platform is the most milquetoast platform I've ever seen in a presidential candidate. And I don't think that there's a single person that's going to get excited about her platform and go and read that and be like, oh yeah, I really like this, I'm going to go and vote for that person. It's literally there just so that she can say that she has a platform. And it is the most, they stress so hard to not have anything disagreeable or, controversial in there whatsoever. So I don't think that her putting out a platform is going to help her. If anything, it's going to fuel more accusations that she is just hiding her real opinions and positions from the American public to try and fool low information voters. Kind of like what Bernie Sanders said 2 days ago. Like, Bernie Sanders just straight up said it. He's like, did she give up her progressive ideals? No, I don't think that she did. I think that she's just doing the pragmatic thing because there's no way you're going to win an election with those, right? He straight up said it, right? So then these people in the thread are like, well, which positions are you talking about that she's done a 180 on? And so I gave a big long list. And they started arguing with me through the list. And like, you go and you read their responses, and it's like, you're doing this thing where you're reading like one particular word in the sentence and saying, oh, well, this isn't entirely accurate because of this one word. Like I accidentally said that she wanted to ban private healthcare, which doesn't really make any sense. Obviously, I meant ban private insurers, right? Well, but even that is actually more complicated than that, because in the debates, in the 2020 Democrat presidential primary debates, they asked the question, would your plan get rid of private insurance? And Kamala Harris raised her hand. And then like 2 days later, she was being interviewed on CNN, and she says, actually, I misunderstood that question. I was not supposed to raise my hand. And then when she describes her program, it's kind of like it doesn't get rid of your private insurers, but it does. It was like this really narrow reading of it. And like the whole thing is, though, okay, so did she want to ban private insurance? It's kind of like, it's a little bit, but like the substance of the claim is still true. What's the substance of the claim? She changed her position. She was in support of a single payer system, and now she's not. It's true. Like the substance of the thing is true, and then they turn around and they're like, no, it's not. All this nonsense that is like irrelevant to the substance of the discussion. The substance of the discussion is here she was a progressive. She ran to the left of Bernie Sanders, and now she wants us to believe that she's a moderate. Absolutely ridiculous. It's like, I just can't believe, or do you think that these people actually believe this nonsense? Are these people on Reddit that stupid? That gullible? Or are they like gaslighting me? They like political operatives sent in there to try and say this stuff to try and, because it's absolutely ridiculous to me. And so I'm seeing this going into the debate, and I'm like, I can see what's going to happen. Donald Trump's going to be like, well, you supported this and you supported this, and then she's going to be like, no, I didn't. And then the media will be like, no, she didn't. And we'll all be sitting over here pulling our hair out like, yeah, she did. And then on top of that, she's been preparing super hard. And preparation matters. And there has been some times, like when he went up against Biden the first time around in 2020, where he was like, I don't need to prepare. He's just kind of winging it. And Biden was better prepared. So yeah, I'm concerned about the debate tonight, but we'll see what happens. Well, I was kind of waiting for like some sort of sign about where we're at and what the future flow is, but it kind of looks like it's continued to trend up despite the flow being about 5,000 contracts. So we've continued to move up on 5,000 contracts. It's a little does look like that the flow is unbalanced to the long side, though. Actually, it's quite imbalanced. I think that's because of the 30-minute window. So like when I look at my my imbalance indicator, it's like almost to 60%, which is like really crazy. But it's because of this one iceberg in there. So that one iceberg hasn't come out of the trailing period yet. Well, I asked in Financial Juice about the blackout period, and they came to the same conclusion that I am, that we are in the blackout period, so that must mean that while they are speaking, that they're not going to be talking about monetary policy or the outlook. Okay. One thing I think that I need to be careful about is here again, like your calibrations can get all off. So like the move from 01 to 04 is like an average size move. It's not like game changing trend. But I would say it's been pretty persistent, especially in the 30 year. Delta changes the most in the 5 year. I'm not seeing a clear change in the spreads. Not seeing a clear change in the Japanese yen. I am seeing gold move along with them. The dollar's not really doing anything either, so it does look like it's a flow, specifically in the treasuries. It's a relatively mild flow, but it is persistent. I don't know if when I look at my drivers for the flows today, does the debate mean you buy? I don't think so. The 3-year auction, maybe you buy, but as hard as they have been, So I don't know if I really have the support to explain why, if we do have a really strong imbalance to the long side, why, and will it really continue through? So I think I'd be making a pretty big gamble to buy it here 03 and say that it's going to continue through to the highs. But we did touch that previous day's high. So like, if there's a meaningful break above 04, then maybe I could jump in. Or then maybe I would be more more excited to jump in, let's say. Oh, look, see, here's something on Reddit saying, oh, it's false. Because JD Vance tweeted about it. Watch some stat video, and apparently time-based candles are 82% random. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of randomness in price itself because, especially if you're like looking at a 1-minute chart, because market makers inject that randomness into their strategies intentionally. They make more money by, you know, they could basically, you go in and you do a calculation and you say, this should be the best bid and the best offer based on all of my calculations. They intentionally go in and say, but sometimes it's going to be a little bit further away than that, and sometimes it's going to be a little bit closer than that, and I'm going to decide that completely randomly. Because by injecting that randomness into the market, they make more money. Let's sort this thread by controversial and see if there's people trying to claim that it was true. City council meeting. Haven't seen that. But they actually have video of it, people. Sorry to bust your bubble. We are the world bubble. You mean the video of someone who's probably not Haitian claiming they didn't eat a cat? Yeah. They're literally stealing cats and eating them. Why is it so hard for people to realize that this is factually true and currently happening? Because we can't prove it, dude. There's not like a reputable news story from a news outlet where they went and they saw the police report and confirmed that there was, you know, the police confirmed that somebody ate a cat. So somebody on Facebook saying that their neighbor claimed this to them. So it's like a third-party account. So we are turning back down. It's kind of like, oh, as soon as I start to think about, well, maybe it could continue through here. No, it looks to me. Although, you know, yesterday was really interesting, wasn't it? Because yesterday they kind of came up to like a key level sort of a thing, and then they'd fall all the way back down, and they did that several times before it broke through. Kind of like maybe an ascending triangle sort of a pattern, but I would say a little bit different from that. And that's probably not even the first time as of late that I've seen that happen too. So I'm a little bit suspicious. There are a lot of people in the controversial section of this post claiming that the cat eating is happening. Then they're being massively downvoted, like a negative 60 downvotes. That's like people are going into the comments to find them and downvote them. What are the odds that Harris got the debate questions ahead of time? I don't think it matters, honestly. So like with Hillary Clinton, you know, so this is when I think back on the debate that Donna Brazile gave Hillary Clinton the questions. Like, I vaguely remember thinking back on that debate and being like, you know, there was the one or two questions in there that seemed really left field, and Hillary Clinton seemed unusually prepared for them, you know? But what are they going to ask that would be a real surprise? You know? I'm not sure I really see it. Especially when we're dealing with Kamala Harris. I mean, like seriously, ABC is probably the most biased news outlet on this stuff right now. Like, if you look at their coverage, like, all of their stories about Trump are negative and all of their stories about Kamala Harris are positive. It's absolutely crazy when you go in these people that are like media watchdogs and they've gone in and looked at the stats. Okay. They're not going to go and put some super complicated issue in there. It's Kamala Harris, right? It's going to be softball questions across the board. It's going to be softball questions and, hey, Trump, why did you say this or do this or say this mean thing? Right? Like, that's going to be the questions. So I don't think that it matters if somebody got the questions ahead of time. I think that the questions are probably going to be, it probably will be to some extent Trump debating both Kamala Harris and ABC. You know? Like... based on the negotiations and everything that they've had, you know, nobody should have the debate questions ahead of time. And if somebody did get the debate questions ahead of time, it should be a huge scandal. I hope that the way they're doing this is the moderators are putting the questions together and only the moderators know it. So that if somebody leaks it, then we know it was one of the moderators. Because like Donna Brazil, being like, previous DNC chairperson, it was kind of like, well, doesn't surprise me that she would do something shady. But if a journalist that is supposed to be, that's the moderator, if a moderator did that, that would be like, should be huge scandal. There was this place which was allowed for here's the thing, guys. Why do we have to go into like the crazy story? Well, you can find me a story about that. I could go and read it, but like the fact is, we have millions of immigrants illegal immigrants coming across the border, and the Biden policy was pretty much set up to explicitly allow this. But we all know it, and we all know the numbers that are coming over, and it's there's no dispute about, like places like New York in particular have that these cities are having trouble dealing with the influx of immigrants, that they get this huge influx of people that they can't take care of, that are having a hard time taking care of. They're giving people like food vouchers and all of these sorts of things. These are not in dispute. These are things that are not in dispute. So why do we have to go for the crazy story? Why can't we just go to the simple thing that even the Democrats aren't stupid enough to deny? You know? It's all just one clovered pivot op. To try and overwhelm the welfare system, and then that will usher in basic universal income or some form of socialism. Maybe. You know what? To be honest with you, Uzi, I don't think that the Democrats think it through that far. Because honestly, if you look at what has happened over the past 4 years, and you look at the American public's opinion on immigration who they trust more on immigration, etc., etc., etc. This is completely blown up in the Democrat space. Now, maybe they've already succeeded. Like, maybe they've already imported enough people into the country that they are going to have a strong base of supporters and flipping in key areas. That may well be the case. Like, and you might not see it today, but 5 to 10 years from now, you might see it, you know? I think that Joe Biden, he thinks we should let as many people come in as possible. They're told that it's good economically. They don't agree with the law, whatever, anyways. So they just let as many people come in as possible, and he's pretty brazen about it because he knows that it'll get more voters. And I don't think that they really think it through much further than that. And they don't think about, but the people in the communities where all of these immigrants get dumped off at are unhappy. You know, they don't think that part through. And it may well be the case that that's a major factor in the election that is not in Joe Biden's favor, by the way. Hard to say right now. I think that you get a pretty high chance of, things changing. Like the key issues in the campaign, the day-to-day narrative constantly changing, So, one of my kids mixed up this Rubik's Cube and I can't handle not fixing it. Do refugees come from all over the world or just Mexico? Oh, I think that, and in fact, it sounds to me like that Mexican immigrants in particular are not even the largest group. Like, they come through Mexico, but they're coming from all over in South America. And some are even like people from China coming over and then crossing the border in Mexico, which is pretty crazy. That just reminds me of another argument that I had with somebody on. These are usually like one person that just have these crazy opinions about things, and I'm kind of sitting here like, because I don't know who I'm arguing with, right? Here I am. I try and to be as informed about these things as possible. I follow the main storylines. I try and do all of my own research to figure out what's really true and what's not, and so forth. It's not like my full-time job. Kind of think about some of these things like this whole thing about conservative influencers accepting money from a Russian disinformation campaign. And I'm kind of like, well, you don't do your research about who you're getting your info from and like whether it's accurate or not and stuff. Like, okay, whatever. But I would think that if I was in that position, I would do a bit more research than some of them do, but I digress. So this person was saying, all of Donald Trump's immigration policies were a failure. No. The stay in Mexico policy was working. He implemented it at the beginning of the year in 2019, and over the course of that year, immigration completely died out to where when you got to August, there was hardly any immigration at all. And, why would there be more people crossing the border in February than in August? That makes zero sense. A lot more people will cross the border when it's hot. Well, warm. Spring is the highest time. Okay. So there was like a spike of people in the spring and then it died off precipitously. So his policy did work. And then Biden came along and he got rid of it. And this person was trying to claim that the opposite, that Trump's policies increased immigration. Well, during Trump, immigration did increase because of like these court cases, not things that he did. And it's just like it is just like almost infuriating that somebody would even try to make this argument that's so obviously wrong. I'm like, you just don't know how to read a chart, man. Like, and that's where I come back to, like, I look at this all the time. Are you just some stupid 14-year-old kid that just looked this up today? Because what you're saying is just absolutely insane. I wish I really think that on a website like Reddit, that like your age should be plastered next to every post that you make. Like, this is something that I dislike about websites like Reddit. Back in the day, you know, us old millennials, when we were posting on internet forums, right? You got to have your own 200 by 200 pixel avatar next to your name. And then you had a signature section where you could put pretty much anything that you wanted in your signature. And there was this whole ecosystem around like people helping each other get signatures and all of these sorts of things. So when somebody posted, you would recognize them. You would remember who they were. Like, it was a small community, and I knew most of those people that I was arguing with. And there were some people that it was like, okay, I know what he's going to say and how to deal with this particular person and all that sort of stuff. And then you go on Reddit, and it's just like this faceless horde. You don't know anything about them. You don't know if it's some stupid kid or, you know, somebody outside the US or who. They want it to be anonymous even. And I hate that. I think the internet would be a very, very different place if everybody knew when they were interacting with a teenager. Because I think the teenagers say some of the dumbest stuff. But I digress. My point was, the illegal immigration, it's happening. It's well documented. There's no question about it. You don't have to go into some of the crazier, unverified stories to make the political point that there's a problem with Joe Biden's immigration policy. Well, they did come back and kind of based out around 0.5 there for a little bit. The way that they started behaving at 0.5 kind of made me less interested in things, but there was a temporary tick up, and now they're ticking back down again. So, and throughout all of this, I'm not really seeing clear things. I am seeing a decline in the Japanese yen over the last 20 minutes, but the treasuries don't seem to be mirroring that move very well. Scroll your dollar chart? Like what, zoom out or? Oh yeah, you know what, it wasn't the right. But it's in a range. I'm not necessarily seeing a clear trend in the dollar yet. All the buying is getting absorbed. Though you look at the cumulative delta, right? Mixed. So again, I was saying there was this big outlier right here, and it kind of screwed up my market order imbalance indicator. When it came out, things went back to 50%. So now at the moment, we don't have very strong evidence for a imbalance. I was just wondering, like, why does his look different from mine? Yeah, it's kind of weird that it was like that, but I prefer to have like a little bit of space at the side of the chart, but sometimes I just don't have the room for that, you know? Seems like chop till tomorrow. Yeah, it kind of looks to me like that there was a large transaction there, and that maybe speculators got overly excited about it, and it's now the activity is dying back off again. But my guess is that because of the debate, that you're gonna see tough action today. And we'll see if during the debate there's a big move or not. Probably won't stream it. For one, that's exhausting, and I'm freaking tired. But two, it's on ABC, and they issue takedown notices and all this nonsense. So I don't even know how I'm gonna watch it. Hopefully, oh, you know, maybe I need to go because it's on ABC, right? So maybe I don't have a digital antenna for my TV. Maybe I need to go and get a digital antenna. So I can watch the local ABC channel. What? Kamala Harris plagiarized Joe Biden's campaign policies for her website? Really? You know what was one of the funniest things that I saw yesterday? Was somebody had this post. It was like, ChatGPT, give me a policy platform for a presidential candidate. And like, it read so much like Kamala Harris is on her website. It was really funny. Well, let's read this Breitbart story. What are they able to back this up? Harris finally posted a set of policies on Sunday after weeks of criticism for not having one on her campaign website. The policies were published just 48 hours before the presidential debate. But wait, this is not going to be the only one. There's another one scheduled, right? Wasn't there 3? Maybe not. Oh, I guess we'll see. But the New Republic, a left-wing outlet, reported Monday that several parts of the new policy section had simply been lifted from Joe Biden's website, even including material that called for Biden's re-election. Really? They pointed out that the issues section contained metadata with language urging voters to re-elect Joe Biden. Oh my gosh. For real? Wait, they have metadata and they have like a little link here to it, an X post. Oh, oops. I want to save it. Open image in new tab. Oh my gosh. It's right. In the page description. You gotta be kidding me, man. That's... I want to get an antenna for football. Did you find a good one? Well, you know, I have a weird history with this. So like, I cut cable a long time ago, man. Because I could not stand Comcast. And then it was like they were jacking my price up, and I'm like, well, you know, like normally you could call in and like say you're going to cancel, and then they would put you on like a new 2-year subscription or something like that, and you'd be able to pay less, right? Go back into the introductory period. They weren't going to do that for me, and so that was when I was finally fed up with it. It's like, I'm not going to pay that much for cable. And so then I had an antenna. I think that I was just getting like what was in the TV. But my parents bought me like a real antenna that you put up in your attic, you know? So I had that, and that was great. You got a lot of television stations with that too. It was kind of interesting. The whole digital, like, it's so weird because I remember as a kid, like, I knew what all the channels were and what tended to be on which channel now, right? And it's like completely different now. Because everybody moved to cable and like hardly anybody uses the actual real TV stations, right? But I think that there's also a local TV station that's going to be broadcasting all of the hockey games. So I think I want to get that for that as well. But here's another thing, is that they have like these fractal radio antennas. So like it's like a big square, and the antenna is just kind of like in this little pattern on the inside. And so you're able to get like a really good antenna in a relatively compact size. So I think, actually, maybe this is just something I should get off of Amazon. Except for that, if I'm going to use it tonight, I probably need to go to Walmart. DTV antenna. There's a relatively small outdoor one. Yeah, something like this. And you just like put it on the wall or the back of the television. Oh, I thought that this is what I used to have. That's only $50. Oh, okay. Yeah, Magic ESM long would have worked. I mean, I'm not up that much though. I don't know if I'd read too much into that one. But I wasn't really getting football games with the local anyways. I think you would want to buy a package. So for the hockey games, I think that the local team is supposed to come up with a new streaming service of sorts. So I don't know if I'll be able to use it on my TV or what, but by the way, I've got this TV behind me, and it's too big to go downstairs. I need to just get rid of it. I need to just get rid of it. It's a pain in my butt. I can't get into that drawer. You're still kind of getting these, like, it's kind of like on a downtrend. I just showed it on the chart, right? Like, we're kind of on a downtrend with like these little spikes, right? I'm a little suspicious of that. That kind of looks like market making nonsense designed to trigger you into thinking that we're going to continue trending up. Well, that story about that Kamala Harris plagiarized Biden's campaign policies, I'm say that one delivered. They literally copied the HTML and didn't realize that they had copied like the metadata. It's funny. The White House is not called family of American citizen killed in West Bank by Israeli troops. Just kiss. 1 out of every 15 Americans is a millionaire, UBS is. Well, yeah, if you count like people over the age of 65 that have $1 million in their retirement, but they have to live on that for the next 20 years of their life. So you show me somebody that has $1 million in net worth outside of their retirement accounts. That's a real millionaire. I can almost bet you they do include them, probably just property worth. Yeah. Yeah. For it to be 1 in 15 Americans, absolutely. They're counting people that have $1 million net worth in their house or in their retirement accounts. And you're not talking about people that just have $1 million that to spend on anything they want. How big the difference of $500,000 of wealth and $500,000 of cash? Well, if you have $500,000 of, let's not say cash, but let's say that you have $500,000 in stocks that are not in an IRA or a 401k, then you can borrow against it and you can do all that stuff, right? Borrow against it, the stocks make the money back. You don't pay taxes on it. Yeah. You can pretty much get whatever you want. Except for, yachts, and you're not into yacht territory, but. And most people in that situation, though, it's going to come from their business, right? Like Uzi. That gets me thinking on I need to make a laundry service. That's my business idea. Oh, it was a revenue stream that was over $1 million a year? Like, gross? Or sorry, which one is which? Net? Like, after all expenses, it was $1 million? That's insane. Oh, okay. Revenue stream is gross. We're taking home about 140 to 150K a year. That's not bad. So that really hurt your business. COVID did, though, huh? So here's the question. Do you think that the reduced pace of business, let's call it, is because it's just like people stopped paying for it over COVID and their incomes haven't quite recovered, sort of a thing? Or do you think that it caused a fundamental change in people's attitudes and what they're willing to pay for? You know, like you go back to old customers and they're like, hey, interested in doing this now? And do they say, we still can't afford it? Or do they say, yeah, we don't need it anymore? They work from home, so they don't need it. That makes sense. I wonder about the work from home thing. Because remember when work from home started and everybody was posting all this stuff like, hey, look, everybody moved to work from home and look at how much more productive everything is. And the whole time I was sitting there like, I don't think so. Maybe for some industries. Maybe for some industries that's okay. But for other industries, it's probably a really bad thing. Because you get huge efficiency improvements having everybody next to each other. There's all sorts of collaboration and cross-pollination and sharing of information that happens when everybody's in an office that just doesn't happen when you're online. Oh, Hal is asking what does he runs a house cleaning business. So like for me in tech, it's kind of like, well, like if there's a thing going on, I just post it in the Slack, and they have a pretty good Slack channels, and so people generally know what's going on. And that is where that kind of stuff comes from. Whereas, like, if it's like the big one was the banks. The banks were the ones that pushed against that the most, and everybody really fought them on it. Or the internet was like always railing into the banks about it. But I'm like, banks is like one of the places where I would really expect you to have to go into work, you know? But now I'm seeing a lot of stuff that kind of suggests that the efficiency improvements from working from home have not lasted. And there are less, there are less work from home opportunities out there. There definitely are less of those. People didn't want anyone in their houses. But if I had to point a finger at our biggest problem right now, it's hiring. The work is there, but you don't have enough people to take it all on. Or, you would have to raise the cost so high that you wouldn't really make anything from it anymore. See, because my thinking is with a laundromat is like, I would still do my day job, right? Like, I would manage the business in my spare time, and I would be relatively disconnected from the inner workings of the business, and let it do its thing. And in that situation, I don't, I'm willing to pay my people a little bit more and things like that, and take home less pay myself, as long as the overall value of the business is still going up, Our wages are above industry standard. It's pennies to people like you, but paying anyone $20 an hour to clean out. Yeah, that is good. I mean, what is that? 20. That's like $800 a week. Times 52 weeks a year. It's 40,000. We bring people on above the $15 an hour minimum wage. Yeah, you know, man. Whenever we go into the minimum wage debate, it's one of these things where it's like what people talk about whenever a certain subject comes up is not what I think is important or what I think is interesting. Like what I think is interesting with minimum wage is that minimum wage, largely increasing minimum wage, mostly impacts teenage employment. Less teenagers have jobs. So these days, it used to be that every teenager had some sort of a job, and now they don't. And there's all sorts of experience and other things that people build from a minimum wage. So I tell you straight up, if I could pay somebody less than minimum wage, then I would be able to afford to pay people to do stuff here on the stream, you know? But at the prices, but at the full wage, I couldn't do it, you know? So would a kid benefit from coming in here and assisting me in doing the stream every morning for 2 hours a day? I think so. Because there's people that find it beneficial to come in here and just watch on their own anyways. So it'd certainly be great to be here where you can like actually talk to me, you know? But that's an opportunity that's not there because of the minimum wage. So like I understand where the idea generally came from. The other thing I think is interesting is that what it was intended for doesn't seem to be how it's actually implemented in practice. Like it was implemented, I think, based on what FDR said to ensure that everybody had a living wage, but it does not. It's minimum wage is not a living wage for the most part. So like, and then the politicians, they just refuse to, well, at least Congress. I think it's funny. It's like they refused to increase the minimum wage for a long time. And that long time happened to be a period of unprecedented prosperity in the stock market and low inflation. And then COVID came along and we raised the minimum wage and everything went inflation crazy. Like, I mean, there's a loose connection. I mean, correlation doesn't prove causation, but you have to wonder, right? It definitely warrants some investigation, doesn't it? There's a lot of fiscal variables you run up against when you run your own business with employees. There's not a lot of room for labor ideologies. You can absolutely crush your company being like that. Yeah, that's true. You're probably right. I mean, that's why I think I want to do it. If I could find an opportunity that I really felt I could confidently pull off, because I want to learn those lessons. You know, there are things about running a business that I don't think you can learn any other way. One of the things that's been on my mind lately is like, I don't think I want to be a manager. I think a lot of the time when you get a person and they're like, I want to be the boss now. It's like an ego thing. It's like, well, if I'm a boss, that says something about my value in society and that I'm more valuable than other people and these sorts of things, right? And well, I do like the social praise and everything else. When it comes to work and the day job, I'm totally happy with, I'm just going to do my job and do it well and leave me alone sort of a thing, you know? Like, it's not so much at this current job. I feel like that they're, they want to keep track of what everybody is doing a little bit much. And I'm not 100% sure what they're doing. I'm a little suspicious, to be honest. I feel like there's a lot of scrutiny. It's kind of like, are you being singled out? Like somebody's realized, oh, there's something about that guy I don't like. They don't realize it's that he's ADHD, but you know, and then you start getting increased scrutiny, or if it's something that they think that by tracking all this stuff that they'll be able to make some case to upper management that will help the employees overall in the long run. But my last job, they mostly left me alone, and we did a lot of good work. We got, it took years, but we got the jobs done. Made huge changes to the infrastructure that changed the business so that there are certain problems that company just doesn't have that are like big problems, like the testing, for instance. That was a job that we got done. Okay, but then I look at businesses, and the thing that I see over and over and over again is that a really, really good boss is hard to come by. I think I've only had like 2. And the first one was, had so many other things going on that I don't think that he could completely give us everything that we needed. The reason why I stayed at my last job so long, probably longer than one should, was because I finally had a good boss there. The bosses I had before that were kind of like didn't know what they were doing. Was like the first thing that will happen is that they come in and they're so overwhelmed with all of the clerical tasks and things like that they're not able to sit and think about like strategy. Like, what is it that our team is doing? And what do we want our team to do? And what is the strategy that's going to give this team better opportunities and better visibility and better personal development, right? And you constantly see people where it's like, well, like here's the call to make and they're too timid, which is really, really common in the software world. And then there was just other people that like, I didn't seem to understand what the boss or the manager even was for. Because in my mind, the biggest thing is you help out your guys and promote them to other groups, so that the perception of the group is better. And that's part of what brings the opportunities and things like that. And my last manager, he was really good, and that was like all he was focused on. And most managers, they don't seem to understand that. In fact, I've often seen that some of these managers, they think that their job is to be a babysitter, and they push down the employees, and they do things that really discourages the employees and prevents those employees from giving them 100%. So I see this and I sit and I think, should I be doing this? Would I actually be good at it or not? I don't know. But should I have been this whole time making that kind of, because I'm to the point at my age and my experience and everything where I could be doing those sorts of things if I had pushed for it, right? But it just wasn't in my interest. I guess because my interests are mostly outside of my day job, but you know what I mean? So I've kind of been on this kick lately that like, right now I'm reading this book. I'm about a third of the way through. You can't see that very well when you look at it in the camera, but I'd say I'm about a third of the way through. Read a lot yesterday, not yesterday, the day before that. And I definitely need to focus more on getting some videos done. I have one video that I think I could probably record the chair video, the video for for our index funds evil. I have like a beginning script. I think I want to refine it a little bit, like with ChatGPT and things like that. So I want to focus on making more videos because I haven't been very good at that at all this year. I think I've made like 2 videos this year. It's been a while. It's been so long that it's like I forget what making a video was like. Anyways, but then I think that in my spare time and I'm doing my reading that I need to read about management And I'm torn about this because I'm still sitting here like, is that really a responsibility that I want to take on? But I just can't get over this feeling that like very few people are truly good at it because they don't really actually know what they're doing, you know? And I feel like I could, with my approaches, I could come in and that I would know what I'm doing and I could be good at it. And that it's like, if I could be good at it, then I'm kind of obligated to do it. If not very many people can do it, then I'm kind of obligated to do it. Because that could be a big difference in people's lives. Even though I'm, not, super into taking on that kind of responsibility. But so that's the other side of it is like, well, okay, you could be a manager at work, or you could own your own business, right? I never chased money. I chased working for smart people. Yeah. My issue at my job right now is that, I interviewed and I thought that the manager, his ideas and things aligned with my own. And then like they completely changed up the team and now I'm like off balance and I don't know what's going on. So like I thought I was doing that and now I'm kind of in this like limbo. Not limbo, like not that my job or I'm in limbo, but like my understanding of the business and the power structures in there and everything are all, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what their strategy is, what they're trying to do, what's going on. And so I just get anxious about it. But generally speaking, you're right. Like when I am interviewing for a job, like, because I've never had an issue finding jobs. I think that's mostly because of the industry that I go into. I'm always on LinkedIn, so it's not like I'm like looking for a new job or anything, but because I visit LinkedIn almost every day, I see what jobs are out there every day. If I had to get a new job, it would probably take a couple of months. Whereas normally it's like I have a new job the next day. So it's a little rough out there in the technology industry. But when I changed jobs last time, I interviewed for a couple of different companies. Like I had different choices, and who was interviewing me and who the manager was is a major factor. Like if I get a manager that's like super neurotypical bro stereotype, you know what I'm talking about? Like the kind of guy that wears the pagoda vest or whatever, unironically. That kind of dad. Maybe is interested in and is more of a social person, right? That's always a red flag for me. Not that there's something wrong with being like that, but that those are the kind of people that seem to get this unconscious there's something not normal about this person. Like they sniff out neurodivergent people and then chase them out of the organization. I see that a lot. I've seen that a lot. I haven't dealt with that as much myself, at least not since being on medication and everything. But I've seen other people like that, where it's like they're doing a good job, they're doing everything that's expected of them, but then all of a sudden, because there's something off about that guy, increased scrutiny on them, and they get chased out of the organization. And so it's very important to me that you have a manager that will work on that tries to know who you are on a personal level, so that they can defend you in those situations, you know? Right now, maybe I have that, but I don't know. Because right now, there's just like, it's chaos in my head. I don't know what's going on. But I think that that particular part, I think that I'm good at that. Am I not good at that? I feel like we have the same group of guys here. I know that not everybody's going to like me. So, you know, I've had to, in my life, get over the rejection sensitivity dysphoria sort of thing, where it's like something's not right and you just completely freak out and the anxiety gets the best of you and you do dumb things. So you just kind of have to accept that a large portion of people are just not going to jive with you, right? Well, we have our group of people. We're here every day. I know a lot about them. I know when I see somebody make a trade, I have a pretty good idea of what they're doing, what they're thinking, etc., etc. I'm not like a manager in that sense, but if I did have that kind of authority, I think that I would be able to say the right things to get the most out of them and giving them the right tasks and things like that, because I know enough about them. Like, I think I would be good at that part, right? What I would not be good at is making sure that all of the T's and I's are crossed and all of the small little clerical tasks. But you know what? With my system, with my note-taking system and everything else like that, I think that I can get over that part. I think I can do that part now. And probably actually do that part better than other people, maybe. Simply because I'm more organized. But not because I'm naturally better at it. Tell you what, the 10-year treasury, after that initial buy, it's been super dead. It's been super, super dead. So anyways, but I think if I was going to own a business, I think that like a laundry service sort of thing, that would be great. That would probably be good. I came into that because a laundromat is like the most, has like the best success rate, I guess you could say. The problem is that I think that almost everybody in my area has a washer and dryer in their house. So that's when I was like, well, we could shift it and we could be doing other people's laundry, maybe. There is a business like that out there. Is there enough? Is there room for more than one? Maybe. Maybe. It's kind of like with what Uzi was saying, that like, well, there is enough business so you don't have enough employees. I was able to hire kids. Maybe make it work. My other idea though, and the problem with this one is I don't know what's going on enough to like how you do this business, but I saw on Biz Buy Sell there was a person selling a business that was basically like they sold GLP-1 stuff, because apparently there's like this whole fuzzy area where like there's like the prescription medications, but they're like insanely expensive, and then there's these cheaper versions of it, but they're kind of sketch, and like you got to make sure that you're getting them from a good spot and things like this. And this guy was pulling in a lot of money from it, it seemed. So I'm like, and this is an area that I think is going to transform society. So like that would be a good place to start a business, wouldn't it? That would be a place with good growth. And my wife knows a lot about it. You should open the laundromat in Springfield area. Then I wouldn't be able to, you know, there is this whole thing that like when you run a business, you can kind of run it from, I'm just the capital and I'm hiring people to make decisions for me, and I'm mostly just the strategy stuff, and it's a very hands-off. And so you can have a situation where like you own a business of some sort and you're doing it in a different area. Like that's really common, especially for renting, is like you own a rental unit, but it's in a different state, right? But I think that one of the advantages that I would have in a business would be me willing to put personal time in the evening and the weekend into it, you know. So I don't know if a laundromat in a different state would be a good idea for me, or if that would really work. But a laundromat in an area with a heavy migrant population is a money factory. Maybe. I mean, maybe I can find a place here in the valley. That's just not where I live, but is maybe like 30 minutes away. I just need to go find it, right? Just need to go and put one in West Valley City. Let's see here. So somewhere around here, around 4100 South. I'd want it to be near. Those look like mostly houses. We'd want it to be near apartments. There's one. Bar is speaking that, yeah. Oh, do I have financial juice? No, I don't. It's in the blackout period, so they're not supposed to be able to say anything important. Oh yeah, I was like, let's just pull up biz buy sell. Biz buy sell. Utah All Industries. Cybersecurity. Japanese restaurant. Oh. I don't think that I want a restaurant. Those usually don't work. Yeah, I hope he doesn't cough. Might cause a 3-point. I'll be really surprised if he says something and it moves, okay? Because we're in the blackout period. Like, that would be a huge scandal, okay? I'm just saying. Concrete ceiling company? Hey. Damn it, you know. That's not a bad idea. Except for that, I don't have $2 million. Well, do you think that I could take out a loan for $2 million to buy a concrete ceiling business? Fully remote business events. You know, this one up here, open that tab. Tech repair inside of a Walmart? Oh boy, vibrant nightlife hotspot in Salt Lake County. That's probably a money pit. $3 million? No, thank you. This was the one that's been on there for a while. Broadband service provider in Utah. I'm like, who is going to sell broadband service provider? You can just buy a broadband service provider? What? Oh, look, here you go. It's still there. Let me show you. Okay, their 2023 revenue was $500,000. EBITDA is $286. Perfect buyer would be someone that is looking to invest on a massively growth trending business opportunity in the telehealth weight loss space, specifically around GLP-1 peptides, and would be comfortable taking the reins to scale an online business with an understanding or desire to continue to grow in the medical telehealth space. At the moment, business is strictly private pay, meaning it does not deal with medical insurance billing, but that is a huge opportunity for a future buyer to add in and increase the patient base tremendously. Oh, like, programming things and integrating with different buyers. Yeah, that sounds like it's something I could do. Benefit from a proven model with robust client demand, streamlined operations, significant growth opportunities. Current ownership has not placed a massive focus on digital marketing or expanding out to various relevant products, such as supplements, vitamins, and other health services. Like, well, I need $1,700. $1,700,000. Do you think I can go and get a business loan for $1,700,000? Have to do all of the math and everything. Oh well, wait. Their gross revenue is $1 million a year. So, and their cash flow is $500,000. So I should be able to, theoretically, if I put everything into paying off the debt, I theoretically should be able to pay it off in well, let's just round it up to $2 million and say it would take 4 years to pay off, but it'd probably be longer than that. How long is an average business loan? Do you know this, Uzi? Have you ever had to take about a business loan for your business? He says nope. Debt-free company. Probably bootstrapped. Oh, here we go. Investopedia. Business loans can help businesses grow, provide short-term operating costs, or be used for investment in equipment and staff. However, if you're looking for a business loan, it's important to understand the conditions under which you're borrowing. Loan terms refer to the terms and conditions and blah, 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 blah. Okay, bank loans, average loan term 3 to 10 years. 250 to 1 million. Here you go. Small business administration. Up to 25 years. Well, so wait, did I? Oh, here I just opened it as a. So like, if you were making, well, let's just say, so it says 497,968 a year minus, let's say I want $150,000 a year for me. 347 a year. It's 5 years. I'm not paying attention in the 10 years taken off here. What's with that? Man, and it's really taking, what's the oil is cratering. So I don't think that it was the Fed speaker, but something's going on. Brent oil falls below $70 for first time since September 2021. Could it just be the correlation with oil? The bars, comments on Basil. That must be. Well, you know, I don't really feel like I'm in a good space to trade today, but that probably was one that I should have traded, huh? Like it came up, and then when it came back to 04, I should have taken it at 04. Did you see a 7K stack? I saw one at, let's see here. There was a 3,000 bid at 06. Oh. So that's a little bit of a reason to be cautious about this area, huh? So that's where big orders came in. Anyways. So maybe if I wanted to, so I could maybe do it with a small business loan. I need a book or a program about how to buy a business. If you come across any of that, then, send it to me. Message it to me on Discord or something like that. Oh, look, here's a house cleaning franchise. You ever heard of that? Merry Maids? Available nationwide. Some of these are kind of like, oh, I can see why you would maybe want to get rid of that. Ooh, hey, a pet store established since 2008 in Cooley. I think my wife would love nothing more than to run a pet store, but not in Tooele. Yes, you have heard of them, Merry Maids. Do they have a good? Would you buy a Merry Maids franchise for $50,000? Rules. One of the things I think is funny is that they'll be like, he says, "Oh no, lol, you wouldn't buy one." Okay, cool. One of the things that I think is funny is that they try to, they won't tell you the name of the business, right? But very often, based on the location and everything, you can find out who it is, which is kind of fun to do. Profitable Florist. We're still friends with the old owners of the cleaning authority in the same complex as us, and they did not like being a franchisee. They dumped it after COVID. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I'm too ADHD, man. There's too many things that I want to do and learn. I have to finish reading this book. I have to make a couple of videos. I have to learn about management. And I need to learn about buying a business. Employees don't like working for franchisees either. When we interview their old employees, they often talk about being paid a percentage of the jobs they do, and it often works out to way below. Ooh, that's ew. Yuck. Yeah. Shark Day. What do we see in ES now? I am not entirely sure, but for some reason, oil took a huge dive. The treasuries are bidding, and the S&P 500 is falling. So there is some sort of a risk headline out there. I think that it is probably based on oil dropping, but we're not entirely sure. We have not gotten any anything from the News Squawk or on Twitter explaining what caused that huge sell impulse about 5 minutes ago. With $100,000 down, you could get an SBA 7A loan to purchase a 500K business that was cash flowing around $175,000 a year. That service would be around $4,000. Well, the business that we're looking at buying is worth a lot more than that. So I'm already kind of thinking I don't have enough cash to buy a business like that. I think one of the things with this sort of thing, the buying a business thing, is that it's like the answers are probably like really stupid. And I'll look at it and be like, oh, I should have been able to figure that out. But it's just like, if you know, you know, and you don't, you don't. Okay, well, Treasury's come back pretty good there. They haven't touched 04 yet, but... Harvard Business Review's Guide to Buying a Small Business. Hey. Oh, it looks like this title is no longer available. Boo. Wait, let's just search. Maybe it's like on Amazon or not. Here it is on Amazon. Well, on the Harvard Business Review website, it is $21. Ooh, or I can get it for $10 on Kindle. Okay. I think I will do that. Businesses like ours are really just scaling labor. What do you like to trade more often, indexes or bonds? Bonds by a long shot. You know, I really think for day trading, the bonds are a really great place to play. I think for the most part, most retail traders trade ES. And the main reason for that is that ES is moving around all the time. And so if you really don't have an edge, but maybe you think that you have an edge and you're mostly just gambling and taking randomness, then ES is going to humor you the most, right? Because you can get these small trades and, you know, you can make money most days, and then, you know, it'll completely destroy you one day. But like, you only have to deal with that like once a month, and you can like memory hold that. Convince yourself that it's still good. Whereas over here in the treasuries, like, if you don't know what's going on, it's probably going to throw you. It is an extremely efficient instrument. But it's also very economically sensitive. So when there's a reason for it to move, it will move, and you can jump on early if you're paying attention. So I didn't hear a headline on this time. I think that this was one that just got away from us, but in a lot of situations you get a move that's as much, and you could have taken 4 ticks out of it or whatever, and it's not like crazy or anything, but it worked. You just and the real skill is kind of being selective and only taking a trade when you're really the informed trader, essentially. So that's what I trade. Also, when we are in periods of market volatility where there is risk off trade going on, the treasuries tend to buy in really strong trends. And so while everybody over here in ES is getting sliced up, you just get these easy hold it all day trades in the treasuries. So I think there's some real benefits to treasuries. I think that almost every retail futures trader could benefit from watching and occasionally placing trades in the treasuries. But it's not the hotness that ES is, so everybody just does ES. They use time-based candles, which have only 12% effectiveness. Uh-oh. You didn't read some study that said that you should use volume or tick candles for X reasons and stuff, did you? Because all of my testing on exotic bar types says to me that the other bar types introduce too many biases into your back tests. He says no. Okay, good. Just so that you know, that's one of those little pitfalls that they catch new retail traders with, is use tick-based or volume-based charts. And I can see why you would want to do that, especially if you're a discretion trader and you're just looking at it. But if you're back testing, bad, because it introduces biases into your models. Basically, it biases them towards periods of time when there's more activity in the market. And those are going to be time periods where the results of your backtest are less likely to carry over into live, because you might not have gotten filled, or you would have gotten a different price and that sort of thing. So I'd be really careful with that one. It's better to backtest on like time-based bars, and probably over 5 minutes if you can. Like if you have a strategy and it's trades on like 1 hour bars, and it's a profitable backtest, like that's way more likely to translate into your live trading than it will if you're using like a 1 minute or sub 1 minute chart. I should buy this book before I forget. People have reported issues with this, though, saying that there are typos and other problems, and that this was 2017. Maybe this isn't what I want to buy. Have to go, sir. We'll take leave, but come back tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Well, yeah, today isn't the best day to look, but tomorrow should be pretty active because of the CPI, right? So should be fun tomorrow. What is oil still? Oil is still falling. Gold took a pretty precipitous fall. Oil's down 3% now today. So your oil, soybeans down 2.1, copper down 1, silver down 0.96. And you get into the indexes with RTY, the biggest down. Up the most, natural gas up 4%, but you got to remember natural gas is super lit. Listen, you want something that's like swings a lot? Go trade natural gas. Holy crap, that thing is dangerous. And wheat up 1.28%, and then the rest is all kind of lackluster, but it's following that, the Japanese yen. So something definitely happened, a shift in the market. Seeing a little bit of buying in Bitcoin, maybe they're going to break out here. The treasuries are coming back down towards where they were, and we still do not have any clear driver for that. It really looks like something that was like headline driven, but it may have been driven by the breach of $70 a barrel in Brent crude oil. let's see here. When I buy Kindle books, do I buy it on my account or on my wife's account? Kind of. On mine. Oh, that's weird. Will only let me buy with one click. It's not telling me which oh. Okay, I think we're good. We went to the right spot. So now should be able to come over here and see it. Yep, there we go. No demand for oil. We have to get the oil cartel out and to say something smart. Yeah. Well, I think one of the problems was that before this drop in oil prices, OPEC was saying that they were thinking about raising output. And then everything kind of collapsed. And they're like, well, we're probably going to hold off on that. But they didn't say like, we're totally wrong. Maybe we might even reduce output. Like, no, they're still kind of like, well, you were just kind of waiting. Probably because, you know, the chances of oil increasing after interest rates come down, you know, it's just, maybe we have a recession first, but then after that, you're going to see demand come back. So I don't know. The decline in oil has been pretty, woo. So with 70K, you'd be better off buying a laundromat and scale. Like, but I can't find a laundromat. That's what I want. It's a laundromat. Won't buy a restaurant. There you go. back up there now. You know, should we try this? She goes. Let's try as she goes. A little late in the session for this sort of a thing. Although right in the sweet spot for another impulse higher if we only knew what was driving it. We're going to get reloading at 06 half? 2694. And then there's that big monster at 06. Hell, he pulled. Or at least part of it pulled. Okay. I don't like that at all. So I was looking for the reload and kind of signs that they were going to like ramp this through. I suppose I could still have like limit, stop limit orders up there, but I did not like seeing that there was like 5K at 06 and then it traded through and only 1500. Did not like that at all. So that's kind of signs to me that they're kind of pumping it up and getting people into buying, but that they're not really planning on following through, at least not yet. Especially this late in the session, that sort of stuff is super sus. So, yeah, I'm not going to touch that now. Not even with the sim order. Oh, look, here's r/advice animals, or rather r/shitty politics predictions. Everyone watching will see how old and unchanged Trump is, costing him votes. We shall see. It wasn't like that last debate. He did pretty good last debate. Every single I guarantee it meme about Trump is cringe and inaccurate. Nobody that's voting for him cares how he acts. I love it. Telling you, are you sure that this is not shitty political predictions? Is that a thing? r/. There is an r/shitty predictions. Hasn't been very active though. Oh, hey, how about this? Go to biz buy sell, and then we search for oh no, yeah, we do that. Utah all industries. There's got to be somewhere you can search. Search for a business. Everybody's mind is made up? I don't know, maybe. I swear there was a way to like put in a certain like keyword. From laundry mats and coin laundry. There we go. Laundromat franchise brand. Not another laundromat business opportunity. Okay. Let's read this. If you are viewing this ad, you must have thought of operating a laundromat in some capacity. I know, because I was in your shoes. Searching online at multiple businesses for sales websites to take over a cash cow business where I could just sit back and count my quarters. Unfortunately, my search came up empty as the inventory available were either priced too high or would involve too much additional capital to update the business. And unless you had an extra $300,000 to $1 million laying around or plan to carry a debt service for the first 10 years of your startup, building a new laundromat was also not an option for me. Search for a better way to be a part of this multi-billion, and I found it with the help of Advanced Licensing, a national licensing company that has been putting people in the business for themselves for Aloha. So it is a franchise of some sort, huh? Customers choose the services they need and the closest available wash and fold operator in their area and schedule a pickup on our exclusive Aloha Laundry Life platform. Doesn't sound interesting to me. Why are these ones startup? Laundry franchise. I think I would have to build that myself. Thinking to what Octavius was saying, that everybody's mind is made up and the debate is just entertainment for most. That is the most likely outcome. But just keep in mind that there is very high risk for both parties going into this. This could literally make or break campaigns. And that includes, it could make or break Trump. It's very doubtful because he has done so many debates and pretty good at it. But it's still a risk. And at the very least, it will likely dominate the next narrative of the discussion, what they decide to talk about and things like that. So mostly I just love watching the debates. Probably too anxious about it. You know what else makes me anxious? Those headphones. I need those headphones in. I saw that it went through the sorting facility. Hopefully they deliver it today because that's just driving me crazy. I want headphones where I can hear in both ears. And I want to not be sick. I didn't work out yesterday because I was sick. I was like, oh, we should wait until I'm not feeling quite so terrible. Sometimes I've done that and I just got way worse sick. But then there's been other times where I have like the post-viral cough, and working out is really good for me then. So, yeah. I think, okay, so here's something I learned yesterday that I thought was interesting. Men's testosterone follows a yearly cycle, and they tend to have more testosterone in the fall and less testosterone at the beginning of the year and the spring. Which kind of lines up with like cuffing season, that it's like all of a sudden all the girls want to be in a relationship before the winter comes. So does that mean that in fall that we should be more adverse towards taking risk, and at the beginning of the year we should try to force ourselves to take on more risk than we normally should? Because like there's a lot of good trading opportunities at the beginning of the year, and so I'm kind of wonder like in years past I haven't been aggressive as I should be because I'm just not feeling it. But that's you know, a hormonal thing that I have to be aware of and account for. But when you get into the September time period, that's kind of like a little bit time to put your head down and work, right? And I need to put my head down and work, guys. You know, in the evening, I need to do better. Get some stuff done in the evening. And the day job is done. Because there's too many things that I want to do, and I'm not really progressing very much lately. Well, we got 5 minutes left. We'll see if they're going to come back down here or not. Oil? Okay, maybe they're pausing at least in oil. John Fetterman says Joe Biden would have beaten Trump again. Well, except for they didn't. He dropped out, so. Trump will not prepare for debating with Kamala Harris. He believes he's perfect. Yeah. A little concerned, guys. A little concerned. Henry Cavill is now apparently a grill dad. He is that age. It really is simply just for the boys. Right. This is totally the way it works when you're in site reliability engineering. You get a pager duty alert, which is we don't use pager duty, but that's the most common application to give people like an alert, especially at night. And it always happens like it, yeah, in the middle of the morning when like, why would that ever happen? Always. Almost always. Mean Hong Kong. What's up, good brother? Not much. It's been an interesting session, but I would say for the most part, it's been a quiet session. It's been a quiet session with like 2 real quick moves up that kind of didn't have much rhyme or reason for it. I'm still thinking that the latest move up is because oil is like completely falling apart, but I don't really know. Kind of looks like they're ready to go again. So maybe now they're doing it, right? Now they're doing the setup. So this is where, you know, if I can get a fill, well, the best way to guarantee a fill is to have your limit order there at 06.5 and already be filled when that 3600 came in. Like, take advantage of that iceberg. So now if they slam through that 07, if you put in a stop limit order, you might not get it. But if you could and you got 07, it might be good for a few ticks. We'll see. But it kind of looks like it's... Oh, actually, there's 07. 3,000 to take 07. That's looking pretty good. You might have gotten filled on that at 07. 718 contracts. And now are they going to take the 07.5? Well, it's flipped. When I say flipped, that means that the offer is less than the bid. Oh, and there you go. And a big stack at 07. So that might also be good for 08. So this is one kind of situation. So it, you know, depends on the day. It's kind of like a 50-50, but you know, you can kind of see that pressure. They get up to that high and they just kind of squeeze and the orders come out. That's my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing. You know, that one wasn't very spectacular, but that's my favorite action in the treasuries by far. Do you ever incorporate interesting price levels, i.e. supply and demand? So I think that supply and demand are generally nonsense. Those are terms that are stolen from larger economics and tried to apply to day trading, and where supply and demand are is not very easy to define or testable, and there's no evidence to support the effectiveness of that strategy. People are just taking on risk and, you know, getting away with it most of the time. But I wouldn't say that I'm purely just order flow and DOM. The order flow and the DOM is the best way to understand what's going on right now. Anything else is too little information. Like, especially what you get on the charts, it's too little information. You don't completely understand what's going on, okay? But the order flow in and of itself is not necessarily predictable. Predictive, rather. The kinds of predictive signals that we have or we've shown in the research are extremely short term. So we, generally speaking, you're going to need to combine the order flow with some other edges. In our case, being informed traders. Today, we're not the informed traders. I don't know why they're pushing it up here. Seems like something happened that really killed oil, but I don't. It kind of seems like endogenous, but you know. So I think that every trader can benefit from order flow because that gives you the best, most accurate picture of what's going on now. Just realize that that's not necessarily going to be the source of your edge. Very unlikely to be the source of your edge. The most likely place where you're going to find your edge is going to be in informational asymmetries. Things that you know that other people don't about the current market. Whether it's things about sentiment, the strategy of certain institutional players, you know, things that would tell you that a certain group of people need to buy or sell. Talking about incorporating, well, yeah, so, well, I think I understand what you're saying, because what you're saying is people will say, here's the support, and here's the resistance, and then when it gets to that resistance line, I'm going to judge the order flow, and I'm going to say, is it going to break out here or not? So here's the problem with that. The way that you come to that kind of framework is first you think about it and you say, well, I can buy or I can sell it. But most retail traders, after a little while, will come to realize that like a buy or sell is not the best explanation, is not the best model to think about the markets, because they'll buy or they'll sell and then it just goes nowhere, right? So then they realize, there are times when it's trending up and there are times when it's trending down, and there are times where it is stuck in a range. Okay, now we're going somewhere. And so when we're stuck in a range, then what do? You identify the support and you identify the resistance, and you sell at the resistance and you buy at the support. And when you start doing that, then the issue that you run into is you sell at the resistance and it ends up being a breakout and you get absolutely destroyed and you lose more on the breakout, right? So what am I supposed to do about that? How am I supposed to know if it is going to break out or not? Well, maybe I can look at the order flow. Well, the order flow will tell you how it happened, but it won't necessarily tell you that it's going to happen. So what tells you that it's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you. If we're at the resistance and there's somebody that needs to buy it, then they're going to buy it and it's going to push through that resistance. And how far it goes after that resistance is entirely a factor of the number of orders that they need to buy or sell. The only way to know if it's going to break out and or how far it's going to go after it breaks out is if you know what the future orders are going to be. So what you should focus on is, what are things that I know that can predict future orders? And that's when you come in here every day and you watch what we're talking about and seeing. So for me today, there's a debate tonight, and that tends to depress activity. We have seen two kind of up moves, and overall over the session it has been a good buy, but it's kind of been a tough weak session, probably because of the debate. So we're correct on that. There's also a 3-year auction that tends to be sell into the auction, but overall buy. So they may be buying because of the 3-year auction, but I'm not seeing anything in the spreads nor like the 5-year driving this particularly harder than anything else. So it looks like today that we don't have information that strongly suggests an imbalance. But if we did, we might be able to even estimate how big that imbalance would be, and then be able to determine if it's going to go through there or not. The best trades I've ever made have been situations where I knew, because of the auction or whatever else was going on, that it was likely to be a sell day. And there was these people out here doing these price action strategies where like it should, it's a higher low, it should reverse and go higher. And I sell into that like a mofo. And those guys get destroyed because I knew that they needed to keep selling. You catch those retail traders on a trade like that, those are the most juicy. Do you journal? There's what we put in these notes, and there's the stream itself. The stream itself is intended to be a journal. That's how it started. Anyways, I've spoken too long. I took up my 5-minute buffer period. I gotta get going. I will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the debate. In the meantime, stay